All right, we are taking a look at Transition to College Math 11.7. We're going to start with a warm-up. You randomly select one card from a 52 card deck. Find the probability of selecting a 2 or a 3. So the 2 or 3, they are mutually exclusive, meaning they cannot happen at the same time. And there are 4 2s and 4 3s, so there are 8 total. How about a number greater than 7? So that would be 8, 9, 10, Jack, Queen, King. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times 4 is 24 out of 52. Again, they are mutually exclusive. They could not happen at the same time. A face card or an ace, so that would be Jack, Queen, King, Ace. Times 4 is 16 out of 52. And then a diamond or a face card. So there are 13 diamonds, and there are 12 face cards, but 3 of those face cards are diamonds. So then we are left with our 22 out of 52. All right, like we said, this is 11.7. This is our last piece of notes. We're going to do events involving and, also known as conditional probability. All right, the first thing we're going to look at is, what is an independent event? An independent event are 2 events where one does not have any effect on the probability of the other. Usually we read this as like rolling a 2 and then rolling a 6. So flipping a heads and then flipping a heads again. It doesn't matter what you flip the first time. The second time has its own probability. And when they have their own probability, we simply just multiply them. So if the probability that South Florida will be hit by a hurricane in any single year is 5/19, what is the probability that South Florida will be hit by a hurricane in 3 consecutive years? So in any single year, it's 5/19. So for the first year, it's 5/19. Now, it doesn't matter if it had a hurricane last year. The next year, it still has a probability of 5/19. And then the next year, it would still have a probability of 5/19. And what is the probability that South Florida will not be hit by a hurricane in the next 10 years? So that is our not. So if the probability is 5/19, the probability of not is 14/19. And for 10 years, that will be to the 10th power. And actually, if you do calculate that, it's still a 5% probability that you will not have one in the next 10 years. All right, let's look at a couple more examples. You are dealt 2 cards from a 52 card deck. Find the probability of getting 2 kings. So the first probability of getting the first king is 4 out of 52. Now what's happened? I've gotten a king, and I'm getting 2 cards. So there are only 3 kings left, and 51 cards left. So it should be 12 out of 26, 52. Or about 0.004. All right, the next example. You are dealt 3 cards from a 52 card deck. Find the probability of getting 3 hearts. So the initial probability is 13 out of 52. The next one's going to be 12 out of 51 and 11 out of 50, which I think is 1716 over 132,600. And our last piece of notes is dependent events. 2 events are dependent if the occurrence of one of them has an effect on the probability of the other, such as like studying and getting a good grade. Getting a good grade depends on studying. And probability with dependent events is you take the probability of A times the probability of B given that A has occurred. And we'll take a look at what that looks like. So I like this one for conditional probability. A letter is randomly selected from the letters of the English alphabet. Find the probability of selecting a vowel given that the outcome is a letter that precedes H. So we're given something. We're given that it's A, B, C, D, E, or F, because those letters precede H. So then we do our probability from there. A and E are the, forgot about G. A and E are the vowels, and there are 7 possibles. So that's our conditional probability. We had 7 possibilities, and then there were just 2 from those possibilities. All right, so we've got this table right from the book. We've got some ideology for 100 males and 100 females in the 2000 election. And so we're going to talk about some conditional probability given a table. What is the probability that the person is a moderate given that are a female? So we'll say, how many females are there? There is 100 females. And there are 45, oops, looking at the wrong one. There's still 100 females, but there are 55 moderate females. So that makes sense. 55 out of 100 would be our conditional probability. The next one's a little better example. What is the probability that the person is a male given that they are conservative? So here's our conservatives. I think that is 64 conservatives. And there are 39 male conservatives. So you drew a male. What is the probability that that person is conservative? Makes sense. All right, good news. We're going to have a team test. And you get to pick your group of 3 for your next team test. Bad news. 10 of your classmates are begging you to have them in your group. You write each of your classmates' name on a card. Place the cards in a hat and select one name. Then you select a second name without replacing the first card, of course. If 3 of your 10 classmates are A students, find the probability of selecting at least 2 A students for the quiz. What do you think? I think the probability of selecting a single A student would be 3 out of 10. Now, if we want to select at least 2, we've already taken 1 out. There are 2 left out of the 9. And really, that's it. This last one could be anyone. So this would be selecting 2. What about selecting all 3? That would be 3/10 times 2 ninths times 1/8. So for the first one, I think our probability was 0.066. And for the second one, it was 0.0083. And if we add those up, we do get 0.075. All right, then we should try some homework. Let's do it.